Good morning. Going to talk about today's day. Today's day is, let's talk about the week actually. So I got a call. I have to do pay bask, I've just been told, and it's going to be a bit stressful because I didn't touch my bike since Hansen. I'm meant to have a break period now, so the team's called me up. This is quite normal in pro cycling. Guys get injured, sick, and things like that, so I'm the rider to be called up. It's going to be tough. I didn't touch my bike since Munster and Remmel, so it's meant to be my break period, but that's okay. So everything now has to be pretty much perfect until then to get it done. So I'm really going to change my training in order to get the maximum benefits out of coming into a good shape to do the race. It's not a typical race where a lot of guys finish. It's a very difficult race. It's it's pure climbs in the mountains and that, and normally the start of the season I'm not so good at the climbs, generally towards the end of the season or in the mid-season and Giro or things like this. So I really have to be in rush mode at the moment. But that's okay. So everything in my training would be really to try and fast forward things. It's going to make things a bit hectic, but I like being stressed and busy, so it's good. So today's plan will be, I hope, I just did a quick core session, just under 13 minutes. It's full intense, and just did that. Now I'm having my morning brew. Hope to jump on the rollers with the track bike, fixed bike for good for my pedaling technique. As you're aware, I use a Leomel system which measures the dead spot scores. This combined with the SRM, with the power and everything, and I hope to improve my pedaling efficiency, so that's why I do this every morning. This week I'll be introducing the Ploxygen system, which is an altitude simulation. So when I do my morning sessions and my evening sessions, if I get to do two in one day, will also be at altitude. So I hope that helps too. And then I'll have breakfast. It'll be almost like a brunch, so it won't be a proper breakfast. This is because I'm fasting in the morning, obviously from last night to today, to try and get the maximum amount of weight loss. I can do today's morning session at fasted state. I'll have my brunch. I will go out and do an intensive session, HIT, high intensive training session. It'll be very short and sweet, maybe maximum 2 hours. I'll come back, I'll directly eat. I'll hope to have my insulin spike with the food I have. And when you have an insulin spike, it's the most anabolic stage, so I have full recovery from that training session. And then I'll have a couple hours break. I'll do some work downstairs, some stuff with carbon fiber, things like this. I'm making new shoes. I'm modifying a car at the moment, so that'll be also included some time in the future. Also making some handlebars, yada yada yada. So I'll be doing that, and then I'll go out and I'll do a 2-hour ride, constant wattage, maybe 250 watts, only 2 hours. And if I do it at 250 after the meal, it'll be a short meal after recovery from the first training session. I hope to deplete my glycogen stores, and I'll be in a, I don't like to say ketosis, but a ketosis state. Because I'm actually against the ketosis diet, so I'm not doing a ketone diet at the moment. It's not that. I'm actually a vegan, so I will go into ketosis, and I hope to go into autophagy over the night. And the reason why I'm doing the second session like this is because the body stores around, it's a bit complicated, between 1,500 to 2,000 calories, and maybe 2,500 calories with your glycogen stores. That's in your liver, your blood, your muscles, your circulation, everything. So the idea is to have my main meal before my interval session, so I can do my interval session very well, finish it, have the nutrition required to recover from that session to the maximum ability, and then wait a little, and then do the constant ride to deplete all my glycogen stores. And then I hope to be in autophagy stage, and I do the same thing tomorrow. And I'm going to do this 4 or 5 days in a row. It'll look up autophagy. It's very healthy. It's for longevity, so this is one reason why I'm doing that. But also I'm doing this fasted and everything, and also when you cut up sessions, you have this post-training calorie burnout, which is when you do gym work, it's actually meant to be more than the actual gym session, and it can last for 24 hours. So I'm really trying to stimulate the maximum amount of fat burning to become a climber in 1 week. So yeah, so I'll give you updates. I'll go through it, and until then, I'll enjoy my coffee. And it's going to be a lovely fulfilled day on the bike. But luckily, yeah, as you can see, this is natural light coming in. 17 degrees today. It's beautiful, so I'm going to have a lovely day. Stay tuned. Cheers. So in the morning, I did the first hypoxia session. It was 30 minutes long. I did a warm-up, and then every 30 seconds, I held my breath out for 5 seconds, and then 25 seconds breathing normal, and then 5 seconds breathe out. So this is an SMO2 reader, which measures the oxygen content in your muscle. So it's very different to an SpO2 reader. An SpO2 reader measures the oxygen saturation in your blood. I did have an SpO2 reader on. I don't have anything that can record it to show it visual. I can only see it. But it's interesting that, you know, every 30 seconds you can see that it actually plays a pretty big impact. Well, okay, it's very small numbers here different. It's the difference on the SpO2 reader is much bigger between the holding breath out and breathing normally. But it's nice to see, nice little tool. I'm just playing with it at the moment, and yeah, trying to learn as much as possible from it. So this is the exact same session. It's a warm-up, every 30 seconds breath out, hold 5 seconds, 25 seconds riding. The wattage was between 195 and 210 throughout the whole session. If I wasn't doing hypoxia and I wasn't breathing out, the heart rate should remain constant. It's not a difficult ride for me at this wattage. It's very good to see that my heart rate followed the pattern very well, so it means it wasn't such a hard session. Okay, the heart rate did get up pretty high, but the recovery is very good. So for me, this is it's a good tool at the moment. I'm just testing, like I said, and we see where it goes. Okay, so today's training, do some sprints in between a valley between Smerchek and 70. There's a mountain in between. I don't know what that mountain is called. It's not a mountain, it's nothing, it's a hill. I'm going to do some sprints there. Bit of snow in the background. I'm in the valley there now, so it's actually there's no sun here, so because the mountain's pretty high. Do sprints, 5 sprints, 8 seconds max effort, maximum power. Trying to get 3 minutes recovery, flush out all lactic acid build. The idea of 8 seconds is you don't produce lactic acid, so every sprint can be your maximum. Not many people come on this road. After that, there's a nice climb. Smerchek, one of my favourites, really quiet, no cars, so I'll go there and I'll do a set of 30-30s. Now it's my first ride back since Blunts and Remmel, so take it a bit easy. I don't know what I'll do. I know I said before, probably maybe 550 or 550 watts for 30 seconds, recovery 280, but we'll really have to see. This is the end of the line. And then I'll probably do, I will, no hiding with my training. I'm going to do some block sessions, like strength sessions, so 50 cadence or below. These sessions will be around about 380 to 400 watts depending, over 5 minutes each one. So I'll come back down, I'll do another session. I'll just do hill repeats up the same hill. It's going to be pretty, not boring, it's a beautiful place. So I'll do that. And then I'll do another 40-20, so 40 on, 20 off, change the recovery. And then after that, I'll do another strength session, and then I'll do maybe one medial session after that. So yeah, it'll be a good session. Like I said, it's going to be pure quality today. Just go out, do it, and that's it. Go home and start the next session. So that's it from me, and let's get serious. Okay, so we're going to look at the main course session on the Limo app. Okay, so basically we just go out and do it, short and sweet, only only going to do quality here. So having a quick look, pretty good numbers on the dead spot score, not perfect, but there's a reason why it's not so good, and you'll see why in a second. But let's break it down. So I did the 5 sprints. We'll just bring up this one here. Okay, so these are my 5 sprints. I'm going to turn basically everything off, so you just see the power. So the idea was to do a maximum effort on the sprint and then 3 minutes recovery. There's a bit of a bigger gap on the recovery on some of the sprints. If there's a corner, I know there was a corner here or something, and then a car here. I'm not going to do a sprint, maximum effort sprint when there's a car. So the first one was pretty good. It was 1,138 watts, which is it's good. You know, this is the first time I touched my bike for 7 days, so it's not bad. The second one was at a max output of you see the number here, just letting you know, 1,163. I'm not the best sprinter in the world, as you probably know, so this is just expected. This one here hits at 1,207, which is pretty good for me. And then my other one was 1,184, and then the last one was 1,166. So that was that in the sprints. After the sprints, I went up to the climb smirk, like I said, and I did 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. My dead spot score is very good here. You see, it's I'm doing well here. My leg angle range, which is LAR, which is it's not bad. This is standing up, okay. So I did these standing up, so we'll go up here. So this is obviously the power on, and you can see the power here. It's about 500. I aim for 550. Towards the end, it gets a bit better. The first one's always a bit of a struggle, and then it's your 280 watts. I was aiming for in between, so you see that. So it's 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, and here again, the watch is very good. It goes down, then up, and then obviously. What you want to see here is if it's too difficult, your heart rate will plateau and you're not recovering. So it's good to see that I do the effort, heart rate goes up, and then the heart rate goes back down, which is good. And then intensity goes up, heart rate goes up, intensity goes down, heart rate drops. So it's good recovery for me. It wasn't a too hard effort. So that is pretty good. Now, if I go down to the next part, I just went up. I did a recovery ride. So I came back down and then I rode up again, recovery ride, and then I did another one, another set up the climb. This is 40 seconds on, same wattage held. So you can see on the left, it's about 520. Okay, sometimes it goes higher, but yeah, the goal was around 520 watts, and then 20 seconds off around 280. So I did that pretty good there, and then 40 seconds on again. As you can see, this is a harder effort, and like I said before, there is a bit of recovery from the heart rate. As you see, it drops when I have a break, and then it goes up again when I do the effort, and then goes down, and then towards the end you can see it's really starting to plateau. There is a slight dip, and it goes up, another slight dip, but you can see that this is almost on my limit. So at my current state, I wouldn't recommend that I do anything harder than what I did today. So that was kind of good. And then the next lap, okay, I just came down. Now this is where dead spot score gets interesting. So if you look here, my dead spot score is really good also. The harder I went, it actually improved. So you see here, 0.6, 1.5, and the next one was 0.7, 0.09. Now my numbers were horrible when I first started before using the Lemo, so my dead spot score has definitely improved. Now the interesting thing is, when I do my 5 minutes of 50 cadence, I said at the beginning I would do between 380 and 400. The first one I did 383 watts for 5 minutes, and the second one I did 480 watts. Okay, so just looking at the these numbers here, which is kind of happy about. I won't get too much into everything in the Lemo on this one. This is because it's a lot to take in. But you can see here that my leg angle range dramatically changes. It's a big shift there. So obviously there's I do have a problem, and I know I do have a problem with my pedaling. You see it here. This is my right leg. My right leg has a terrible dead spot score of 26.8 and 10.3 when you compare it to the other intervals. So this is obviously not good. You see a change also in the foot angle range, but we won't get into that right now. And obviously when I did my second one, the dead spot score was actually horrible. This is something I have to work on. I really believe that when you do things at lower cadence, you're more smoother, especially when you have higher wattage output. But you know, the Lemo system really showed me that I was very wrong in that. You think you're smoother when you have higher wattage, more resistance against the force you apply on the pedal, and it clearly shows it's different here. So yeah, that's the session. It's a shame that those two strength efforts really increased my dead spot score. But yeah, it's not bad. This is a huge improvement. It's pretty close. I'm not going to complain too much about that. And yeah, I'll get into pelvic angle and rotation in a different day. But that was a pretty good session, actually. So I can be happy about that. My max sprint effort was good. So yeah. So again, the second session, the purpose of this session was just to deplete my glycogen stores. Like I said, I wanted to go into like a ketosis state over the night. So I had my last meal after my training of the main core session, and then I did this after I recovered a little. So it wasn't as long as I wanted to, because I miscalculated everything. I didn't want to train more than 4 hours today. So if you add everything up with the morning training, the core session, this session, and the session afterwards, I did also with the hypoxia, and then I did 2 core body core sessions too. But this is not a bad session. It's just short. I averaged here 293 watts, which is good. So it's definitely a high calorie output. Pretty standard ride, not much to talk about. Dead spot score was really good. I got 0.5 and 1.9. I can never complain about that. That is really good for me. I'm just going to quickly just touch on a few things here. Leg angle range, this is really good for me. It's you can see that both legs are almost the same. It is different. It's like slight difference, and you can see it's different because my foot angle range is different. I do have a problem. You can see that I have an imbalance. I am working on that. I've come a long way. I've got other videos that I've got stored up that I'll post when I'm away at races and I don't have time to do things like this. So you will see how I got to these numbers. My first ride was horrible, so this is actually a pretty good ride. And you can see everything reflects. So the legs are doing good here. That's good. The foot's obviously doing something different. And you can see the result in dead spot score. So obviously you want to be as smooth as possible, and that's the main goal. This is the second session of Hypoxia I did at the end of the day. Also 30 minutes long, did a warm up, exact same thing, hold breath out for 5 seconds, 25 seconds on throughout the whole thing. You see here there's a bit of a bump. That's because, okay, I was sweating lots and I had sweat in my eyes and I didn't have a towel. So I actually had a little break to get the towel, and then I started again. So obviously the saturation went back up because there's a bit of a recovery phase, and then it went again. It's really nice to see once again that yeah, the SML2 really you can really see it. This is the heart rate of the session. There's no heart rate at the start, but as you can see after the warm-up, the heart rate followed exactly as each holding the breath out. This is me getting that towel once again, and the heart rate followed through. So yeah, it followed it really well. I have to admit, on my track bike, I don't feel good. I just don't. It's the position's just not right. So, but this is the evening session. But it was a 30-minute session. I think I just didn't start it. I was too focused on something else. But it's a hypoxia session, so it's altitude, not breathing so much air. I spoke before about, I'll go into the SML2 readings after this. So on track bike, on the rollers, you can see here that my leg angle range was totally different compared to the ride I did before. This is that break I told you I did between the session to get a towel to fix up my, I was just sweating too much, so I had a bit of I stopped to get a towel. So my leg angle range is totally different here. So the averages you see, it's 52.5 to 57.9. This is a huge number. So obviously my seat is too high on my track bike. I got to look into this. I've just started, and as a result of this, it really changes. You see down here that my dead spot score is horrible, and we saw it before that. I think I was in my ride before was much lower, like almost both under 1. So this is, I have to fix the position on my track bike to make sure it's the same as my road bike. But not so, well, it is important, but I'm not so concerned about it because, you know, it's an easy ride. Only average 173 watts, good cadence. And this is more for a hypoxia state. It would concern me more if I was doing, you know, strength sessions or things like that with not a good position on the bike. But overall, it was a pretty good day. I kind of feel that a lot of people don't do the nutrition and training together as one, and I really believe it should be done like that. So with today, it was pretty good because I did the core session before breakfast, or my brunch, as I said. I did the hypoxia session also at a fasted state too. I then had a bit of a break, did a few things, had a brunch, and then after that I did my main core session, and because I ate before that, I could do a good quality session as you saw in the videos. And then directly after that I had my protein shake with the few extra all nut dates in there, just to add some carbohydrate in there too, because you know, you need obviously carbohydrate to make the protein work. I'm not going to get into this video. You can watch Mitch Docker's podcast on him and I. We touched on that a bit. So then after that, I had another bit of a break during the day, and then I did the constant ride. And the constant ride, okay, I said I'll do 250 watts, but in the end I did just under 300 watts for an hour and I think 12 minutes. So it was just off the top of my head, it would definitely be, you know, 1,200 calorie ride for sure, and then plus the hypoxia session that night. So definitely now I'd be my glycogen stores would be empty. So the goal of the day was good. 2 oxygen sessions. I also did a body core session afterwards. It was, I think, 16 minutes. So overall I did almost half an hour core, like intense core, so it's good. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. I'm not going to do that every day, obviously, because that was a huge video, and if you survived that, chapeau to you. And yeah, if you have any thoughts, any disagreements in my training, feel free to put in the comments. I'd love to know. Subscribe for more videos, obviously, because I'm going to do quite a lot, and try and make it interesting and show the life of the pro in a different way. So thank you for putting up with me for, I think it was almost 25 minutes. Okay, that's a bit too long for a video. The next ones will be shorter for sure. Okay, thanks guys. Have a good night. See ya.